I'm really excited to talk to you guys about the shooting on the run portion of this. Again, the drills teach the technique. We're going to focus on deception a ton. The shots, really the scenarios are alley shots, which are my least favorite, but at times are fine, and you need to be deceptive with them. Your sweeps coming to the middle, which I really like, and of course your up the hashes or your fade shots, and also shooting on goalies. Now, by the way, you guys, I didn't even pause for questions. So if you have questions, please just notify me, and let's get talk about it. All right, this is really interesting. Did any of you guys, before I get into this, I'm going to ask you a question here. Have any of you guys listened to the Andy Shea podcast that I did, last fall? And when we talked about shooting, and he talked about his shooting concept of learning how to shoot off your other foot. So Paul Rabel here is shooting left-handed, shooting a jump shot off his right foot. And normally when you're shooting on the run, regular shooting on the run, you would shoot off your left foot. And Andy Shea was talking about how he practices coming across, at about 8 or 10 yards, sweeping across the middle and shooting off his opposite foot than what you normally shoot off of. So I don't know if you guys remember seeing this or not, but I didn't understand. It took me, Andy told me about this years ago, and that's why I asked him about it on the podcast. But I didn't really understand what he meant. And you know how things go, it takes time for things to and then I was like, oh, now I know what he's talking about. And so let's look at a few examples of this guy's shooting on the run, right-handed, coming across the middle with the exact same shooting position on the field that Yale practices it. And let's watch it again. He's coming across the middle. Is he shooting a jump shot here? No, he's not. But notice his left foot comes down. And notice that he's totally loaded on that foot. And then when his other foot hits and strikes, he shoots it on the run. You can see him loading up on that foot. Right there. He's loaded on that left foot. And then he's able to swing on a normal on-the-run type of a shot. Let's watch this guy from the Dallas Rattlers, McNamara. Same thing. You're going to watch him. Back it up. You're going to watch him load up on his right foot to shoot it off his left on the run. And we're going to see Paul Rabel do the same thing right here. Paul Rabel's example might be the best because you can see him actually cock on his left foot. That is the exact same, that ability to load yourself and then begin your swing off that foot is so important. And it made me realize why Andy Shea is onto something. And so if you watch this over the cage, into the cage shooting drill, where the Ohio State Buckeyes on a 26-degree day on January 29th were shooting their jump shots, working on shooting jump shots over the cage, into the cage. And when you shoot a jump shot, you're loading yourself on this very same foot that we're talking about, even when you shoot on the run. And so the fact is, guys, is that when you want to work on your shooting technique and your mechanics, jump shot mechanics are really good for a lot of reasons. And they really allow you to just get some torque. They allow you to turn your body with that natural elasticity we were talking about before. They allow you to swing really hard. It's kind of hard to do it as fast, meaning on the dead sprint. It's hard to shoot a jump shot on the dead sprint. but it's not that hard to get a lot of power. And I'll tell you, there are certain shooters, you guys, that will shoot better with their jump shot than they will shoot with their shot on the run. For example, how many of you, both men's or women's coaches, have athletes that are better at shooting on the run? They're right-handed players, but they're better at shooting on the run lefty. They're on the run shot lefty is really good, but righty, it's just not that great. They're probably going to be great and more deceptive and effective at shooting jump shots. Now, these guys, if you watch them, they're not really that good at shooting jump shots. They don't have amazing form. That guy's better than some. Some of it is better than others. And that wasn't even a jump shot. That was a step in. But the idea here, everybody, is I've been working on this, and I completely believe that the load that we're seeing with Paul Rabel right here, that load on that foot can be learned in your jump shot incredibly effectively. And I think it's the best way to learn how to be a better shooter on the run. So we started working on this with the girls team. And I want you to also kind of realize that one of the advantages of shooting jump shots is the deception. That was not a jump shot. The deception, that was not a jump shot either. The deceptive element, though, the deceptive element is that there's a natural hesitation in a jump shot. And it really teaches you how to torque your body and get your whole body into your swing. So we started working on this. We started doing it with these little figure 8 drills, just like we had a goalie, we had 5 shooters, and we would just go around these cones, catch, and shoot a jump shot, and just begin to learn how to hammer it. And we're just working on it, and our shooting is getting so much better on both the deceptive level as well as the actual just the power and just the torque. This is a pretty hard drill. This is doing a split dodge and doing 2 steps. Remember we did 3-step on the run? We're doing 2-step jump shots right here. Set your feet, 2 steps, and hammer it. You do it off the wall. Set your feet, 2 steps, wall ball. Just working on that footwork because it's not natural. And we need to be able to be very adept at getting our shots off quickly. Split, 2 steps, hammer it. And let's just try to see if we can get some torque out of our split dodge. And you can see how she is starting to figure that out. Now, the deception is, like, to me, the great upside to shooting, because you don't have to be that strong of a shooter if you can shoot deceptively. The idea is make the goalie think you're shooting the wrong someplace else, and they'll get out of the way for you. You can't become a deceptive shooter without shooting on goalies. You must use tennis balls so you don't beat up your goalie. And I want you to learn this 3rd bullet. Don't judge your shots on whether you scored. Don't teach this to your players. Judge your shots on whether you had the goalie beat, whether you had the goalie. Okay, if you have the goalie, you got what you want, you're going to score. If you're just getting lucky and hitting a spot, but the goalie kind of knows where you're going, watch the film, see if you have the goalie moving in the wrong direction. The shots, so the teeter-totter, the leaner, the anti-leaner, the elevator, the teeter-totter. Paul Rabel makes a living off his teeter-totter. And you're going to see his little double move split. And let's look at his stick go right up in the air and lift that goalie up. You see where his hands are right here? The goalie is up. The ball, the goalie can't tell yet where the ball is going, and it's going low right by him, and the goalie is handcuffed. That's John Galloway, one of the best goalies on the planet, but it's a pretty close shot. This is why, you guys, I believe in practicing shooting from pretty close in, because you're going to be able to shoot the ball from 5, 6, 7 yards in the hashes a lot. And you got to be able to bury that shot. If he's not shooting deceptively, then Galloway's going to get a piece of it. Your leaner is where you put your head down, one way, shape, or form. You lean, and you get the goalie to move out of the way for you. You see that? I'll tell you right now, I used to have the saying on every scouting report I ever did at the University of Denver and Mountain Vista High School. It always said, and Yale University for that matter, it always said, leaners will go, because they always do. Everybody knows John Grant Jr. does this. Everybody. But there's no way that they can stop getting out of the way. And then to be able to shoot this shot coming to the middle, this is Jeff T with just, amazing wrists, but being able to shoot the ball coming to the middle is really important, and he hammers that thing. Your anti-leaner is simply it's a chest up shot that's underhand. All right, that wasn't even totally underhand. You could see how it was like kind of a sweeping shot. But see how his chest is up and it's holding the goalie up and making the goalie move in the wrong direction? That's how you judge a shot. Judge your shot on whether you had the goalie. Right there, he had the goalie. So this is insane, you guys. But if you listen to the Darius Kilgore podcast, he talked about shooting on goalies with no balls. It is by far the best way to teach deceptive shooting. It seems insane. But the bottom line is that if you watch these first 2 shots here, just watch. Watch this girl shoot. Look where she's shooting. She's clearly shooting top left, and the goalie had it because she doesn't know how to shoot deceptively. And you watch the second shooter, and she's shooting lefty coming across, and she's looking high left and shooting it low right. Now, you might say, how do you know where she's shooting? The goalies will tell you because in the end, they kind of figure it out. It's kind of goofy because you're just like, well, how could that work? But it does. Try it. I did it with my wife today in the office. I was like, hey, be goalie. And I just pretended I was shooting on her. And see right there? She was shooting underhand, looking at the top left, and shooting her anti-leaner to the lower right. And watch her point. She's like, oh, yeah, I was shooting to the lower right. But the idea, you guys, is that this technique, it's amazing, actually, how effective it is. And that kid was, you don't hear him right now because this volume isn't on, but he put his head down and shot it top left. And the goalie totally went the wrong direction, and they will. And so it's pretty interesting. Darius Kilgore is one of the most brilliant guys. If you haven't listened to that podcast, you definitely should. Talking about deceptive shooting, I love this drill. It's kind of like the figure 8, but we're just turning around and getting shots off quickly. Catch it, turn around, and shoot leaners, anti-leaners, elevators, teeter-totters. And you can see that she's gone through the gamut right there. I mean, that's just a perfect example of the shot that she said she made with no ball. She went chest up right here and handcuffed the goalie. And so when you just turn around and you're close enough that you can learn how to kind of hold the goalie up, throw it low, hold the goalie low. Oh, look at that leaner. You just have to learn how to do this if you want to score more goals. And so you just have to make it an emphasis and a focus. And everywhere I've coached, we've done that. Your jump shooting, we talked about this a second ago, but the jump shot itself, there's an element of hesitation, right? The element of hesitation on that foot is the same hesitation that beats people on the hitch, and it makes them late on the finish. It makes them late to protect themselves. So here we are at our practice, and I just said, hey guys, shoot alley shots, give us good angles, shoot teeter-totters and leaners. We got tennis balls going, and that last one, that was a perfect example of a teeter-totter. I'll back it up a touch. His stick is up. He's holding the goalie up in the air, and he hits the pipe, but there's just no way a goalie could stay with it. Guys, I rarely would shoot without goalies in the net, only if I was working on pure power. Here we're working on a little bit of a lower angle shot, because sometimes we'll do a move called a belly out move, where we kind of turn the corner and then bear in, and we're going to try to practice our lower angle shots. I don't like far out shots with poor angles, but if we can get this close and we can put our head down and shoot a leaner, or we can twister it by him, we will shoot that shot. And so we're just working on the shots that we're going to get. Notice we've got 2 cages going. The kids are getting a ton of reps, and they're not getting as many reps as if there was no goalie, but the quality of these reps are going to actually do something for us that is really powerful. We will work on shooting, split dodge, rollback. And again, we're always working on our deception. Split, roll, hold the goalie up, throw it low, or lean low and shoot it high. And, the bottom line is that shooting and deception is a feel. Did you see that right there? Look at that load. Let's watch this one more time here. Watch how she loads with a behind the back fake right. Wait, hold on a second. That one. Did you see that? This is before I really learned that that load matters so much, but it's really cool, you guys. So shoot on your goalies. Every shot judged, have them judge themselves, not on if it went in, but if they actually had the goalie moving in the wrong direction. So you're up the hashes fade shot is a shot that is it's very, very effective. It happens a lot. It's basically a shot that occurs in sort of big little situations where you're kind of coming up in this angle. You're coming and you're shooting, running away from the net. They call it the up the hashes at Duke because they practice this jump shot coming up the hashes. But it's all relative to this type of an angle that's on the run, but you're not always going to be able to turn the corner to the net. And so that's why we're working on this shot. And this particular shot is out of the low-high wind-up. It's out of the low-high finish. It's all the same book, you guys. You see how the goalie is moving in the wrong direction. The shooter is coming around, and the shooter shows low and then lifts high. Goalie comes up, and then he shoots it around. Hit the pipe. But again, we're not judging our shots on whether it goes in. We're judging our shots on whether we have the goalie. Okay? That was an example of the fade shot where he has to take a step away. This happens usually when there's a man on you and you're stepping away to get your shot off on sort of like a screenshot type of setup. So this shot is really, really important. It needs to be practiced. And of course, you can begin to change it up and shoot into different spots. But it's all the same deception, So that near side shot, of course, is executed because he'd done the low shot 3 times in a row. And again, he had the goalie. So you give him credit. If you got the goalie, you got the goalie. Low, high, low. That's a very good example of the low, high fade shot. Look at the goalie. He actually guessed a little bit on that one, didn't he? But he had him. So